way to track it through a database of where everybody is, because if we invest money in you and your training, then we want to keep investing in you because we want you to do well, because that's a mark of our success. We look good when you look good, right? So that's continuation. You to a certain point, and then we stop investing in you, then we've wasted our money, right? Because if you can't find that continuous support or mentorship that you need, then how are you continuing to be successful? And every region, every continent, and every country is going to have different needs, and that is something that is very clear to EBRO. Unlike the Society for Neuroscience or FENS or even SONA, where there's a very specific need amongst a region, EBRO is global. And so we need the feedback to know what is needed, and that is the job really of the ARC. Where's Thomas? Did he disappear? He's back in the back. So Thomas is one of our ARC members. We have a few others in the room that I'm seeing. Our regional committee members who are here at this meeting especially are the way in which the needs of a region, in this case the continent of Africa, which includes a lot of diversity because it's a lot of countries and everything is not the same.
55.
Thank you. There's a lot of different needs, and that has to be measured through your regional committee, the ARC, to receive the information back to EBRO Central. Because we are not a top-down organization, we are a bottom-up organization. Meaning it's your needs. What we need more of in Africa may be very different than what we need more of in Latin America or the Asia Pacific region, right? They're gonna be different needs, and they're gonna be different across this continent. And so I think that's really important that information, that communication, make it back to the members of the ARC so that they can determine the needs when budget time comes around every year, which FYI is right now. And so if you have the ability to hit up any of our members of the ARC, the budgets have mostly been already determined in terms of what's been submitted. That doesn't mean they can't be adapted or for next year. This is really important that you understand that that's how it works. It works through what is submitted to the ARC. They make the determination because they are the representatives from the countries around this continent. That comes back to EBRO Central. We only have so much money. We cannot fund everything, unfortunately, but the prioritization is done at the level of the regional committee. They are the ones who decide, not us. So, if you have ideas for the future, if you have been funded previously, we want to continue to support you. Sometimes that might be through things like mentorship. We're developing different programs. Some of that is through ALBA. Has anybody heard of ALBA? Okay, so for a lot of the women in the room especially, this is really important, but this is not just about women, it's also about diversity. And for neuroscience globally, that definitely means all of you. And that ALBA's job, as Carmen Sandy, in terms of starting ALBA, is a way in which diversity globally, that neuroscience is representative. So, is absolutely to hear more, and a lot of this will come through the ARC. We had a meeting just earlier today about this. That all of the amazing neuroscience, the things that you're all doing, the success stories of how you've gone from one program to another, how you've traveled abroad and come back, if you've had a return home fellowship, etc. That information needs to be tweeted about, it needs to be out in social media so that the rest of the world, because the more we hear about what's going on around the world together, the closer it brings all of us to neuroscience. And we do not hear enough about the neuroscience going on in the continent of Africa. We don't. And so everything that I'm tweeting about going on at this meeting, I'm hearing from all of my colleagues back in the US saying, wow, that's incredible, I had no idea. So we need to hear more. I will only be able to say that which happens on Twitter. I'm too old to tell you about all of the other social media. Maybe you guys all know more about it. I don't. Maybe my child or any of our tweeted out from EBRO Central, as well as our ARC members. I keep looking at Thomas and putting a lot of pressure on him. So I'm happy to take questions, but I will say that it is my solemn promise to you all that I am dedicated to ensure before I leave office as president of EBRO to make sure that it is sustainable, the communication and the transparency If you don't understand how decisions are made, you need to ask questions. Just don't take it, you didn't get funded. It's something we talked about today, that we're hoping that our regional committees can provide feedback. So you apply for a fellowship or return home, or you apply for a travel fellowship, and you get that notice that you didn't get it, but you have no idea why. That's bad all around. I don't care where you're from. As soon as you don't get, I'll tell you what, when I don't get an NIH grant funded, the first thing I think is, what's going on that I didn't, right? It's the first thing we all think. We're human beings. So feedback is really essential. We want to work a lot on that. It will be very helpful. But it takes man/women power to provide that feedback, right? People in the ARC are very busy. So we're hoping that Ebro Essential will be able to help with that, to ensure that you're getting the information. You didn't get it this time, but here's why. Maybe you can apply again for some of those. You had a travel fellowship, you attended a school, you had a return home fellowship. We want to really find ways to continue applying the mentorship and be able to track you so you don't fall through the cracks. We want to make sure that everybody can be successful. Again, there's only so much money available. I don't want to make any monetary promises here, but I do want to promise that there are people out there who want to help. They want to provide mentorship, they want to answer questions, and I know that across the continent of Africa, the needs are very diverse, and so we're trying to address them as best we can. So are there any questions that I can answer?